So someone managed to find one of the few videos that I forgot to cut the comments off on, and I actually think it was the video with the manager following me around the store while I was shopping for groceries. So this manager was following me around the store, and I knew he was following me, so I went on and started recording without him noticing it. And then I set the phone on the table and walked away as if I was gonna just get something like, condiment or something. I don't remember exactly what. And while I did that, the manager went and unplugged the microwave because I had bought something that needed to be microwaved. It was like a TV dinner or something, and I was gonna get I think I pretended to go over and get like the silverware for that because they got like a little area where they got like forks and spoons. So while that happened, when that happened, I knew he was following me. He was literally following me around the store. He followed me. He was waiting for me when I was buying the food, the TV dinner or whatever. Yo, that is normal. That's normal. And you know what? You know why? Like if we were to take spirituality out of it and ask why they would do that, well, they would do that because he wants me to knock him out, and then he could press charges on me. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they are setting you up every step of the way to fail. So what are you going to do about it? Well, of course I complained, but they're not going to do anything. They're going to wait until you snap. And a normal person, if you did that to a normal person, that person would have put the boots to that guy. I mean, that person literally would have cold-cocked him and stomped his face into the dirt. And you know what happens when they do that? They have their hateful, racist, evil cops come in and be like, what an unstable, crazy maniac. And throw you in jail, and then they ruin your life further. You get that, right? Like if I was to, I was thinking, well, I focus a lot on spirituality, but maybe I am kind of not really trying to cover both ends of it. So this community is going to do everything possible to start a fight so that when I fight, they can label me as a criminal and throw me in jail. You get that, right? That's how they do it. I mean, the United States is a despicable, disgusting country, but it's really good at being sneaky. So 9/11, all that stuff, let me tell you something. United States probably took a broom and literally raped those people for years before 9/11 happened, and that's assuming that they are themselves responsible for 9/11. So that's the nature of the country. This is the most despicable country on the planet. All I've done is proven it. And I prove it, and believe me when I tell you, they'll shadow ban me. So there'll be 100 people on the planet who will see the proof. Because all these elitists are all evildoers, and they're all under the influence of the devil. It's like, well, out of the what is it, 300 million people of the United States, they could deceive probably 80-90% of them, and the rest of us wouldn't really have too much contact with, then they have the people shadow banning us or whatever, so we're not going to ever get like a platform where we can reach millions of people. So you couldn't even get a platform that reaches millions of people because they have control over everything. So it's like a lot of people would think the people dying for our freedom are just foolish because they're being deceived. These are not people who would know. Like if you told me to fight for this country, I would actually rather hang myself than fight for this country. I mean, so Muhammad Ali had that attitude too. Muhammad Ali was like, I know America. I would just rather take the jail sentence than fight for this country. You see this? This is just proof. This is proof. This is the truth. The country is despicable. These people are despicable. They're all, I can't talk about them. If I talk about them, I'll be in sin. So it's like, well, you can't really say but so much because then you fall into sin. I try to reel that in. It's kind of like one of Satan's snares, not to bring religion back into it. You know, Satan's snare. Everything that happens out here is Satan's snare. Everything that happens in this community is Satan's snare. I consider this community itself is Satan's snare. Like, I can't even talk about these people without being snared. It's every single thing that about this area, and the injustice of living here, the injustice of every part of this area is a snare. It's a snare. That's why I always think to myself, those saps who are over in that country, and it's almost like I have to actually apologize for even saying that actually went over and died for this country. It's like, and you know, the people, like, all these people are laughing at them like these are fools. Why would they die for a country like this? Nobody's really free. I mean, you know, like, who would look at this? Look at all this crime. It's just the whole country. That's why I've lived out here for many years, and it took me years to accept how despicable the country actually is. It's just a despicable country. It really is. The people are despicable. The justice system is despicable. Everything that happens out here is despicable. It's wrong. It's immoral. And you know, I had to take time out of my life to process this. This did not come easily. Osama bin Laden, I mean, come on, man. Osama bin Laden, look at how much they're doing even to other Americans. You honestly think that they got all these tanks and stuff set up over in the Middle East with these Middle Eastern people, and they are not literally, the stuff that they are doing to them would be unimaginably evil. It would be something that we would not even be able to imagine. They were probably doing stuff like out of the movie Saw to these people. I mean, they really were. See, the people in that country would be the ones who knew what the United States was about. And then the United States would just drop their propaganda and then deceive everybody. Or at least the vast majority. And that's basically how things are here. So 100 people would know. Maybe. And then there would be the ones who are in denial. You know, they come on my channel, they watch the videos and say, oh, you know what? Marika is too good for that. And we don't believe it. I don't know. You know, it's like the amount of people who would see the true face of the United States would be very limited. And it's just the criminals, it's the gangs, it's the corrupt cops, it's the indifference of the people who are supposed to do something about it. The oppression of me, all that stuff. That's why the best thing is, in reality, we can't judge anybody's situation who is not really out there just doing all these crimes. You can't really judge people for an attitude, I think is the point. Like, an attitude, you know, that's why, like, the criminals have good attitudes. Well, why wouldn't the criminal have a good attitude? The criminal is out there robbing, stealing, and killing, and he's winning in life for that. I think that if I was a low-life criminal, like, you know, I don't want to, you know, get sinned by calling these people out. I think that if I was like some of these people out here, I was like, damn, I'm the worst human in the world, and it's working out. My attitude would be pretty good too. Think about that. You know, the bad attitudes come from the people getting cheated. Like, these people are low-life criminals, and there's no consequence for that. So why wouldn't their attitude be good? See, I'm the person who did the right thing and got punished for it. I'm the person who lives in the cesspool. These people, this is their environment. The creatures of the swamp. We live in the swamp, but we're not of the swamp. So our attitude's not so good. I live in the swamp. I don't belong in the swamp. I'm not going to tell a frog he should be upset over the fact that he lives in a swamp. So these people, the swamp is their environment. So they're happy here. So, like, that's why, you know, we try to record people at their worst a lot of times. And we got the criminal element, you know, putting the camera on them and showing how nice they are. And with that one little thing they did, and for the camera, when they pose for the camera, and then they go out, steal, rob, kill, oppress people, break into your homes, terrorize the community. They do all that stuff, and they get a pass, and everybody covers for them. So, like, as far as the United States involvement in Putin's affairs, or what's going on in other countries like Europe. I was like, I mean, who in their right mind would think to themselves, because the United States told us that we needed to help whatever, I forgot the name of the country. I honestly did. Whatever country Putin is invading. Because the United States came up with a reason for that, we should be over there. I'm like, I actually at this point, if the United States is helping them, I actually think maybe we should just let Putin have it. I mean, really, because if they're helping them, it must be evil. Something evil. There's something evil with that, simply because the United States is supporting it. Like, how could the United States support it if it was good? Like, honestly, like, how could the United States just wouldn't do that? The United States is so wicked that I actually think that the United States would just be like, well, there's some evil reason why we're helping them. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna lie and deceive people and they're thinking that we're doing something good. But the United States has a history of that, going back from literally the founding of the country all the way till now. I mean, think about the United States history. This is not new for this country. This country has been wicked from the very beginning. I mean, the genocide of the Native Americans, from the slaves, from the Jim Crow, from this, the United States has this track record of being a sadist country. I'm just saying. That's why I don't support anything the United States does. And I would definitely not fight for this country. I would be like, I will kill myself before I protected this country. And I'm just saying. So the moral of the story is that never trust anything the United States is about. You got to figure things out for yourself. I mean, like, not to mention how much we get taxed. Like, everything that happens. That's why I was like, in the end, of course the United States allowed this to happen. It goes along with its track record. Of course the United States did this to me. Oh boy, were we suckers for actually thinking that this country was above that. Weren't we foolish to think that these people were above that? These people were never above wickedness, ever. I hate to have to say it. Do you honestly think that the descendants of the slave owners are the genocidal sociopaths who wiped out the Native Americans? Do you think that their seed somehow was better? That they came out better? Well, they didn't. I think that's just how it is. As far as Middle Eastern people, well, the United States, how could we trust them? I think the United States did terrible things to them, most likely. Just saying. It sucks, but that's why the channel, regardless of how interesting the content is of this channel, the people in power are protecting the country from the truth. See, look at my channel as the truth. You notice how it's being hidden, like nobody's really viewing it. If I made a ridiculous TikTok and it was all happy and I showed people doing nice things, which was a lie, something scripted, something that something out of Hollywood that I just created to make it look that way. Like, I went and, took a cat and broke his leg and then act like I was nursing it back to life. That would get 1 million views. That's how they do it. They find some stray cat, take a board, beat the hell out of it, and then just be saying, we found it that way, nursed it back to life, and get 1 million views. That, in a nutshell, is how the United States works. From my observations. You see what I'm saying? That's what people want to see. People want that lie. But so this is the only thing I could give you, because like I said, most of my content now is going to be spiritual. I figured I'd try to make something non-spiritual. Hopefully this is not too against my beliefs or religion. But with that said, let me go ahead and close.